Hello subscribers and non-subscribers, and welcome to a channel update video. So, it has been a while since I've done one of these. I haven't really had a need to do them at all recently, but now I do. So the channel recently hit 1,000 subscribers. In fact, we're at like 1,011 as we're recording this video. That number might go up a little bit or might go down a little bit by the time this video actually goes up. But nonetheless, like I said, as of right now, we are like at 1,011 subs. So, hitting 1,000 subs opens up the door to remonetize the channel, which, I'll be honest with you all, might end up happening. For the immediate future, I do not plan to do. In fact, the thing that'll basically determine whether or not the channel gets remonetized is this next thing that I'm going to mention in just a moment. So, yes. So the thing that will determine whether or not the channel gets remonetized is quite simply whether or not I get any Patreon donations. The reason for this is I need the channel to help cover the costs of running it. It costs money to buy games. I'm not a large channel, only recently hitting 1,000 subs. I'm not going to be getting sponsorship deals from EA, Activision, or whoever the fuck company wants to go and have that. Sure, I can request keys for particularly indie games through things like Keymail or MoveIt, but again, that's really only going to work for indie games or sometimes Paradox Interactive, which is slightly larger obviously than an indie dev. Well, not necessarily slightly larger, they're slightly smaller really than a AAA dev, but that's mostly because of the way their games are somewhat more niche. So for them, they're not needing to, whatever. Moving on. So yes, I mean, sure, I have some ways that'll allow me to get some games without needing to go and spend the $60 or whatever it is to buy that game in particular. But that really only, like I said, works mostly for indie games or, to a degree, Paradox Interactive. So beyond that, I can't really get games for free, which of course means I have to go and spend out of pocket to get those games, and the channel's not bringing any money. It hasn't been bringing any money in at all for the past couple of months, ever since it got demonetized for not having 1,000 subs when YouTube had to change their rules. And so that's sort of where we're at now. The channel now has the opportunity, beyond trying to get people to go to my Patreon, which admittedly I do a shit job of trying to do. I forget to mention a lot of videos, and when I do, it's just kind of like an afterthought, really. But it's there. It's been there for ages. In fact, I used to have a Patreon, but their financial situation changed, or at least that was the reason they said that they had to cancel their Patreon donation last year. But yeah, so if the channel can get, say, $5 a month, give or take, it doesn't really need to be exact. It's just something. In Patreon donations, I will not be remonetizing the channel through YouTube. Well, basically, I just won't be remonetizing the channel at all with ads and whatnot. The reason being is, now the reason I selected $5 is because shortly before the channel got demonetized, for sort of the months leading up to that, it was bringing in around about $5-6 a month on average. A little bit of leeway depending upon whether or not this was during the holiday season or shortly after the holiday season, but nonetheless it was around $5-6 a month. That's why I'm selecting $5 in Patreon donations as the number to determine whether or not the channel gets remonetized or not. So there will be a link to my Patreon down in the description. There should also be a card that pops up at some time during this video, or actually, excuse me, at the end card thing or whatever at the end of the video, there should be a link to my Patreon there as well. But there's definitely going to be one down in the description if you want to become one. I have 3 tiers. 2 tiers are basically the same thing. One's just a sort of early bird version of the more expensive tier. So I have the $1 a month tier, which is the basic tier because Patreon doesn't allow you to have patrons less than $1 a month. Well, actually, they might allow it, but you don't get charged until your thing is equal to $1 a month. So there's no point in having a Patreon tier below $1 a month. So yes, at that tier you get Adblock Amnesty. Of course, that assumes the channel gets remonetized. I haven't bothered changing that because, yeah, I never saw a reason really to. You also get early access to all my videos. That is the basic tier you need to be at to get access or early access to my videos. You also get access to Patreon-only posts, which include the early access to videos, of course, as well as a private Discord channel, which admittedly my Discord isn't very active right now. It's basically just me, Shadow Fighter Pro, and 2 other people that typically don't talk in there, but it's there. I do have a Patreon. I'll have a link that down in the description as well if you wish to join it. If you become a patron, you get access to the Patreon-only channels, of which I have 2. One is a voice channel and one's a text channel. The next tier is one I just call Early Bird. It is $3 a month. It is a limited tier, currently to roughly a quarter of my subscriber count, so 250 patrons right now. And for $3 a month, you get all the same stuff as the $5 a month tier, but just for $3 rather than $5. That's really the only difference. So the stuff that you get there is Adblock Amnesty, early access to videos, all the same stuff really as the $1 a month tier, but you get the added priority to getting your name in-game. Anytime I do a Let's Play or a stream series or whatever in which I might ask people for character names. So if I do a Let's Play of, say, Phantom Doctrine or XCOM, realistically speaking, Crusader Kings 2 even, where I ask people for names, you can get your name in game. If you are a patron at either the $3 a month tier or the $5 a month tier, you get priority. Is that to say that I'll be basically just using those names before moving to non-patrons? Not necessarily. What I'll probably end up doing is I'll do like patron, patron, non-patron would sort of be the order, or something to that effect at least. So yes, link down in the description to my Patreon if you wish to join it. If it sounds like I'm holding the channel hostage, I don't want it to sound like that, but I really can't think of a better way to phrase that the channel needs to cover some of its running costs. Which, again, those running costs are, of course, for me as a content creator, since I don't like have a website that I'm uploading these videos to, or at least like my own personal website that I'm running for it. For me, that running cost is basically just having the ability to buy games or upgrade my software to the newest versions of Sony. Well, excuse me, not Sony Vegas anymore, because Sony sold it to whatever the hell the name of the company is. So upgrade to like the latest version of Vegas. Cover the costs of the Adobe Creative Cloud subscriptions, whatever. The channel needs to at least cover some of its running costs. As it stands right now, and for the past couple of months, it has been doing that not at all. So, yes, like I said, I don't want it to sound like I'm holding the channel hostage, but I really don't have a better way to phrase the idea that the channel needs to at least cover some of its costs. So, link down in the description to my Patreon if you wish to join it. It's appreciated if you do. If not, you'll still get to enjoy the content. It's just the possibility that the channel might end up having ads on it in the future. I don't really care to remonetize the channel, though. I will be completely honest with you all. The main reason being that knowing YouTube, they will just end up saying in 2019, oh, we've now had to raise the minimum subscriber needed to monetize the channel to 2,000 subs. Yeah, I don't see the channel hitting 2,000 subs in 2019. I mean, is YouTube going to do that? I don't know. They might. I wouldn't be surprised if they end up doing that. There's no guarantee, though, that they will, of course. But yes, so like I said, link in the description of my Patreon if you wish to become one. You don't have to. It's appreciated if you do. Link in the description of my Discord as well if you wish to go and join it. Again, it's not particularly active right now, but that's because it's basically just me and Shadow Fighter Pro for the most part. The other 2 people are, to a degree, just kind of there, though one of them was a patron previously. So I'll see you all in the next part, or well, excuse me, not the next part. This isn't a video with a part. I'll see you all in the next video that you watch on the channel. But until then, a goodbye and farewell. And I hope, of course, you continue to enjoy the content of the channel. And for those of you that do, I hope at least some of you say, you know what, I can spare $1 a month and become a patron because it's appreciated. And if even just a small handful of people, like I said, around $5 a month worth, were to become patrons, it will cover the, at least in my opinion, good enough, the costs of running the channel. So I'll see you all in the next part, but until then, a goodbye and farewell.